Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, beloved hearts. We have another quantum conversation in the Interdimensional Beings and Galactic Connection Summit series. Today we're with Amala Rose. She is a sound alchemist, a quantum energy healer, and she works with the galactic and rose line frequency. We're going to learn about the blue star ways, the Arcturian and Sirian connection in this call. Hi, Amala. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to see you.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a real honor to be with you.
So this is called Making Contact, or This is Contact. And it's fascinating because we are interdimensional beings with a galactic expression. Can you share in your personal story how you awoke to this awareness of yourself and your connection to the rose line frequency?
Yeah, it's only in hindsight that I came to know that even in childhood I had indigo ways, but then it expressed in certain ways, and I had no context for any of it. I had a very dramatic opening and awakening where so many consciousnesses came. It felt like it was coming in, but now I know it was awakening within at the same time. And as I was doing self Reiki in order to, because I was very, very sick at the time and going through something traumatic. And as I was doing self Reiki, Kuan Yin, a light being, came in and started teaching me how light flows and teaching me about the light body and how energy and the body are connected. And things sort of grew from there. But it was really through the process of Reiki and sound that I was able to open and allow. It was a really big thing for me, the allowance of it, because all of this really tried to open much, much earlier, but the circumstances weren't right for me at that time, and so I had great, great resistance. And so it opened during this time because there was no resistance. I came into full surrender because of all that was going on. And during that time, as I was, you might see the bowls. There's one in particular when I came upon these bowls that has a rose etching. And when the first time I played these bowls, all kinds of information and light language was coming in, and Universal Mother Mary, those are the words that have come in for me, with her essence, came in very potently. And she was with the blue star ways and started, well, after, it's hard to talk about this linearly because so much occurred at the same time, but it was through communing with her that I began to feel safe enough for the allowance of everything that wanted to be present within me and to open and to begin to be expressed. Because I did have great, great resistance to the weirdness of all of it. I really thought I might be going crazy, but it was so intensely beautiful, and I had never felt such peace and pleasure and beauty and love that I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'll take it because it's amazing. But of course, over time, I know that this is what's most real. And yeah, so Universal Mother Mary was sort of like like a main spiritual spirit. I don't know about the word spiritual, but a main guide, a main presence who helped me to feel safe and helped me to open to the rose ways, which really softened, it helped to soften and open the unconditional love pathways within myself and to heal some of these spaces within that allowed for more of the galactic consciousness to awaken and to be expressed in, it was happening anyway, but to allow it to happen, to become is a better word, not happen, because that implies that it's outside of self, but to allow it and to be more comfortable, because it wasn't comfortable initially. It was too much for my body and for my nervous system and for my ego. You know? Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. You have just identified the path of all of us, this awakening path. And we're talking about that here at New Earth One. We're trying to help new people who are awakening realize what is the steps? What are we going through here? And you did it. So you opened, you came to your heart, you opened, you healed some things that was traumatic, and then that opened you to this galactic consciousness. So this is the result of all this healing that we're talking about. Can you share with us what year was this turbulent time? Because we hear that word resistance is futile, and yet many of us, many people awakening or starting to experience things like this could be resisting like you were. So it was almost the proverbial 2x4 over the head where you had your physicality turned to you to say, we got to do something different here. And that forced you to surrender. What year was that about? And can you share the details of some of those issues?
Yeah. Well, first, you know, I think the steps will be different and unique for each person, depending on so many factors like life experience and belief system and current circumstances and like so many things. But yeah, for me, how I was living and who and my experiences, the state of my body too was not in a condition to allow for the immensity of the light and all of the activation in my light body. In 2011 was, I remember this distinctly. So there were plenty of things prior to that. Like I had very vivid dreams, that would play like movies and that would come to pass. All the details. I would have dreams of being on the light ships and awaken to be like my arms. It would take a while to be able to move my arms. So I was being prepared, and I was incredibly ill. I had many different disease states. I was on a lot of medications. I was married at the time, and so all of those conditions did not lead to a safe landing or a comfortable opening in the body. The body was going through so much already in a really strong state of suffering. And everything that I viewed at that time was seen through the lens of illness. So yeah. So what I remember very distinctly was in 2011, there was an experience, and so many people are empathic, so I hesitate to describe too many details. And for most people, light language and these things opened in really beautiful, glorious ways. So, but for the way for me was not that initially. It I was self-medicating in addition to the medications in order to try to ease the pain in my body, and that opened enough, softened, and not softened, but sort of dampened enough of the resistance, because my whole body was tight at that time. Everything was tight and constricted because of the pain. So, physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain will, that's the nature of it. It's constricting. And that had been the state for a long time. And underneath it all, I always had a strong belief that I knew I could heal. Um, but so anyway, in 2011, I had an experience where I was self-medicating, and I got to a point where something like changed in my body, and I couldn't communicate. I wasn't able to express anything, but I was fully conscious the whole time. So it wasn't a seizure. However, through the lens of illness that I was in the midst of, went to the ER. I thought I was dying, and all the way there, all of my limbs were moving. I started making this like clucking sort of sound, and 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 I was resisting it because I was scared, and I thought it was because of the brain swelling that was occurring. And so anyway, they, in the ER, it was also seen through the lens of illness. But in hindsight, I now know that that was all of the star ways, that was all of the galactic ways, that was all of the beauty ways, that was all of the love ways that were attempting to open, and the circumstances were just too constrictive at that time to allow for it in comfort. And so fast forward to 2016, I was still sick, but had stopped a lot of the meds. And yeah, there were some traumatic things that occurred, a very sudden split with the person I was married to for a very, very long time. And at that time, it was like a complete shattering of everything I knew to be true. And still ill, and worried about how I was going to do everything. And it was because of that ability to be in a space by myself, and to be able to be with myself in that shatteredness, the depths of grief. And I just remember this moment where it was like, I think I was probably dissociated some, but I went into this state where it felt like everything was completely suspended. Like there was total surrender. It was like, okay, I have no control over anything. It's futile to keep trying to hold on and to direct this kind of life. And I just remember my consciousness like being in this state. It almost felt like, those images in cartoons where they're like on a rug hovering in space or something. It sort of felt like that. It was just this pure suspension. And it was like I was observing myself in that space of shatteredness, but the shatteredness like blew open my heart. It just, instead of, losing everything, it was the beginning of remembering. It was the beginning of reclaiming. It was the beginning of coming home to myself in the way that was always there, that I couldn't access and couldn't allow any other way. And so, may it be with more ease, and it has been with more ease for most people. But for me, it needed to happen in that dramatic way so that I could let go of everything and truly surrender. And also enter into, through the force of the scenario, enter into a more empowered way. So, with my therapist just happened to have a photograph of Master Asui on her desk, and I kept saying, who is that? Kept being drawn. And so I had her, I was so sick I couldn't be around most people because I had chemical sensitivity. All of my sensitivities had turned into illness instead of the gifts that they are. And, that healed dramatically over time as well. But anyway, she attuned me to Reiki. She set up the conditions to attune me, which I'm so, so grateful for, so that I could come in to my own healing from an empowered space instead of relying on other people to fix me. And it was through that process, so I was sick. I was at home all the time, moving through that divorce. and all of the grief and everything. But at the same time, all of this beauty, all of these things opened through that process of spending time with myself, of going within and of opening to that flow of universal love that naturally occurs with Reiki. And so with the self Reiki, I would spend like an hour and a half every single morning when I woke up doing self Reiki. And that's when I started seeing all the colors and guides started coming in, and I started receiving telepathic information. I forgot your question. Uh,
Oh, you have more than answered it. Wow, what a fascinating story. What I love is that the surrender coming into the heart, all right? No matter what got you there, what are the circumstances that got you there, you came into that full surrender. And oh my goodness, the crisis. So here you had a healing crisis, you had a healing health issue, and then a divorce. That is like a double whammy. But look at you now. You are fully connected with your guides. This is a new you in a way. And this is what awaits all humanity. So, anyone and everyone listening to this, it gives us purpose and mission for our own journey and what we are here on this planet to do. And I know people are at different levels. And so, I would say most of the people watching this are now at that quantum level. So, you were able to go quantum. You're connected to that universe that is within. It really is so beautiful. And you mentioned a couple of things, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, the guides that you work with, the Arcturians, the blue star ways. We're going to talk about all of this because I say many watching this show are blue rays. And so you say blue star ways, blue rays, they kind of rhyme there. That is no coincidence as well. So before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about interdimensional beings. From now, you've got this awareness. What are interdimensional beings? Are they angels? Are they Kuan Yin? Is it these higher guides from the illumined realms? How do you describe that?
Yeah, through my experience, yes. And we are all interdimensional beings also in a spectrum of experience of reclaiming and reaccessing those abilities or those natural states of being. So yes, how I've come to experience it is it's like the individuated energy or essence of a being or a collective of consciousness that is able to be in more than one point of awareness or more than one dimension at the same time while remaining whole without fragmenting. And so is the ability to be like fully functional and operational and also have awareness. And of course, there's traveling that can occur without that conscious awareness. But yeah, and many people are doing this already and not knowing that that's what's occurring. But it's one of our natural states of being is the ability to access and operate within and from and with different dimensional states of being. Yeah.
That's very cool. So when we daydream, would daydreaming be an interdimensional journey?
Yeah, such an interesting question. I love that.
This came to me.
I love it so much because it's one of the things that, like, in the beginning, Universal Mother Mary used to always say to me, imagination is creation. So even if this isn't real, so like your mind keeps going to this space, like what's real, what's not real, Googling the words that come in and, like all the stuff. And, and also that resistance that might, or self-doubt or the, all of the things that come in that tell us that we can't do these things. She was always saying, imagination is creation. It's a way to move into our ways of creation, and it can be that simple, imagining. So, like when people's subtle senses, a lot of people's subtle senses are totally online also. They're just not noticing that they are, or they're expecting it to show up in a specific way. So then the ways that are really showing up are not noticed or discounted.
Mhm.
But yes, she's always saying imagination is creation. And I know this to be true. I used to be an artist, and so like to be able to create from an idea or from a feeling or from now like in connection with other consciousness ways or additional or higher consciousness ways. It starts with imagination and feeling, and the allowance of and the desire to be in the space of that.
And quantum physics is beginning to prove this and illustrate this as well, because we really are manifesting from that feeling point of view, the imagination, and then the feeling, and then the science behind how that's impressing the subconscious mind and all of it. And my goodness, it's such a beautiful journey for all of those awakening to go down. So, I want to just point out right now before we go further that you've got this beautiful opportunity for people to work with you. It's a couple of courses that you're going to be teaching, and the link is here on the webpage that got you here. There's also a description link in that description box, so you can check out this special offer and work with Amala. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but it really is the heart of cosmic creation with Syrian and Arcturian ways, the star ways, and the dolphin and whale consciousness. So as we go into that, we're going to do a little activation. You've got an activation for us, but let's talk very quickly about making galactic contact or galactic connection and communication, because if this is happening to all of us, we've got subtle senses that are coming online, but we're not aware of it. What are some of the ways that we can tune in to subtle senses? This would be the key. And I'm thinking of like ringing in the ears, tones or ringings in the ears. Is that a sign that the energy is shifting? Synchronicities, these sorts of things. How can we nurture those subtle senses or tune into them more?
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you. So many ways. But as you were saying, like the ringing of the ears, or ways that it can be the simplicity of tuning into the sensations of the body, and so that might be a way. And yes, it can be an indicator of a shift or some sort of transformation occurring. But yes, the ability to still the body and the mind is a key component. And some people, have trouble with this. And there are things that one can start with if that is challenging to be still in the body and the mind. To start with a more active practice that also goes inward, like Qigong, that helps to bring embodied awareness to the energy of the body, that something with movement, so that there's still movement if you have trouble being still. But yes, the simplicity of being able to be still with the body and the mind, so much oscillates. And so, but that ability to be still and be with oneself, and the desire and the allowance to go within, and to just begin, if not already, or expand the the noticing, what's present. Being present in the present moment is everything. And sometimes it's as simple as, okay, noticing just with your awareness, with the observer standpoint of self, what am I noticing in my body right now? What am I noticing in my in the sensations? And what am I noticing in my energy? But it's easier initially to start with the sensations of the body. You can notice tingling, you can notice ringing in the ears, you can notice a temperature change of warmth or coolness. You can notice the sensation of more lightness or less so, excitement, and just naming what's here. And you start then noticing all the other subtle things that are also present. It just helps to focus more inward. And of course, signs can show up, like you were saying, with numbers and with synchronicities and with animal and bird allies, in many, many different ways externally. But it's like also at the same time being able to be inward and to still the mind and the body so that there can be more of a noticing of what's present within, the inner cosmos within. And that first contact, which is contact with self, that then allows for more of the telepathic contact with galactic nature, the galactic nature of self, and then the galactic, and also intention and attention and imagination that you already so beautifully brought in. Imagining, if one isn't sensing something, imagine it and intend for the connection. Yes, and what else? Yeshana kulakurmota ki ishima burunda ka anjeta ki shimorta ka uite ishima burunditi ita karatanda ku ushumu burditi tina kumradete itia. And what was also wanting to be shared, if I may, is orataka shimopuru uti titina kampuru utadike, an honoring of the body. Because, and I learned this through the hard way, but it doesn't have to be hard. A really deep honoring, because there can be a tendency to want to escape the body or leave the body or, go home. When the home is here and it's this gorgeous, beautiful, intelligent, miraculous body that allows for all of these connections. It is the connection space. It's the intersecting space. The heart is where spirit and matter meet through our lived experience here in the physicality. So was asking to share that, to really have some gratitude practice for the body and to love on the body some, and to bring that into the imagination and the intention to connect is to connect through this experience, through the beautiful body and all of the connection points that are within.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. In just a moment, we'll do an activation with you. Can you give us an example how we can begin? I mean, it's wonderful, but for you, when you began tuning into your body and noticing certain sensations, how did you correlate or match it up with a being or a message that you were getting? I mean, how do we begin to decipher that?
Yeah. It takes a lot of cultivation to keep it real, or it did for me. A lot of cultivation and tremendous cultivation of discernment. However, over time, when I showed up, and I would sit for a long time and commune with myself and with the guides. And one of the main ways that I started making connections with my mind so that there was more of a deepening of the understanding of what was happening instead of only experiencing the felt sense, even though that's really important, was I was seeing colors associated with specific frequencies. So my mind would then match, okay, because there are like, and the colors aren't the same as the colors here, but again, using imagination too. If you don't yet trust your ability to have inner vision, imagine, okay, well, if I was going to envision a color associated with this presence or this consciousness, what would that be for me? Because even though, I have a certain experience of very specific, detailed, particular colors that show up with specific frequencies and ways of consciousness, it might be different for each person, again, based on experience and so many other factors. And also what's joyful for each person to be immersed in. But yes, so that was one of the main ways was color. So every time Universal Mother Mary came in, it would be a very specific blue. And then over time was seeing how that blue was fully connected with a very specific stream and line associated with um, rose lines and also Syrian and Arcturian ways. And then another being would show up, and it would be like when Kuan Yin presented. It was like she showed me an image of this figurine. So it might be through imagery, like a flash, like almost like a photograph of something. So she was showing me like a flash of a photo of this figurine of her that I have, to like show me this is, and that's not what I look like. Here's the essence that I am. And then for me, that was a very specific color and had a texture to it and a certain feel to it that every time that occurred, I had a specific feeling in my body also. So it was like color, texture, imagery, sound, sometimes sound. And it doesn't always come in like through the ears. So that too, like, I think there's like certain expectations. Like when Hathors come in, what's always said is this is the sound without sound, because my voice cannot replicate. There's no way that I can create that with my voice, but so it can be in so many different ways. But so then I would just notice each time this occurs or this experience happens, it feels this way in the body, and there's this color, and there's this sense of being, and there's also like that cultivation of what's a yes and what's a no. So even if I didn't know what was really happening, I knew whether it felt safe or not. And even if it's something beautiful, it can feel unsafe if it's too much for the person at that time. Like there was so much that didn't really feel comfortable. It doesn't mean it was wrong or bad, or it just wasn't right timing for me. But yeah, just like, and again, that practice of noticing detail and the felt sense along with the detail. So the detail is going to be different for each person. How it presents is going to be different, but trusting that, cultivating the trust in your own knowing that it's not going to show up in the same exact ways that it shows up for someone else, and then matching those things with a felt sense within, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes absolute sense. Thank you. And it shows us the importance of being still and tuning in, and this ability to tune in. And again, it's the intention, attention, and imagination. Thank you for that, because we're all looking in our own lives and meditation practices where we can meet our guides and be present with our guides. That helps to cultivate this feeling. And so I get that spot on. So you're helping all of us with that protocol that you do. And wow, stay tuned, everyone, as you get more tuned in to what you are sensing and feeling. Okay. You also mentioned the Arcturian and the Syrian star ways. And what I love about all of this is that these beings, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Arcturian, Syrian, they're all linked to the blue ray. and beyond. It's a collective actually. And what do you know about the blue ray? I find it fascinating because there's even a blue rose as well. Mary Magdalene and the blue rose. But this theme of the blue star ways, can you share with us what that is and what do you know about it?
Yeah. So such an expansive topic. But yes, so through Universal Mother Mary and the Blue Rose Ways, um, helped to open the Blue Star Rose Ways, which is like the connection between the Blue Star Ways. So how I've experienced it is like the blue ray is almost like the first emanation from the oneness, from source creation, super, super pure and without form. It's like pure frequency. And then there are like constellations of consciousness. And how it's shown up for me is Arcturian and Syrian are, they always show up in specific blues, the frequencies, and over cultivation with relationship with the rose ways and Universal Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, was shown that there are specific, almost like streams or lines of consciousness and starways that have been expanded and offered here on Earth through the physical presence and continued through the presence of those collectives of consciousness. So like the yes, and the Arcturian and Syrian, and with all of the galactic ways, it's so important to come from a space of like sovereign equality. From the get-go, it was always said, we are you and you are we. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? But it's that imperative, that desire for all of us to come into our ways of creation and to approach from a space of equality. But yes, those spaces of consciousness have, for me, always shown up as collective consciousness and very specific frequency that is blue and has connection and some of that purity of flow still within it from the blue ray ways.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing on that. Wow, we're just feeling into that and much more clarity. So wonderful. So let's do a little let's do an activation. Can we do that? Can we do Starways, Blue Starways activation?
Yeah, it's an honor, real honor. And so yes, first, thank you for everyone who's here with us, and thank you to you again. There's such gratitude and love in my heart for being able to share this. It feels like such a potent time for this specific sharing. So thank you. And if you're driving while listening, please just hold off. Sometimes people go into different states of being. So bringing attention and awareness to the center of your beingness. Kientele murunde shama urunda ki ita murota te ki murdeche. And knowing that all is like an offering in the field. You get to choose exactly what is right for you with your inner wisdom, with your higher knowing. Mononokuisha kinchichina ajana kola orundete je borunde kieta borota teke. Bringing awareness to the core column of light, that vertical channel of you. Motutu kuishi chinchichina kan borunda ki. La la korunda Hisha, kurmontecha, ninia namaborndia, chichikoda kurunda ki arda ki ishima urda ki isha, kimborda, as roseway frequencies are brought into the field. Minanakorda, supporting all of the processes. Kishishina kamborunda, hiechenia na kurmota, hintele, ichina kunakurumda kieta la a orundata awisha mubordeche uhutuku ita. Murteshe shifuta, bringing your ortakesha beautiful awareness to your heart space and the multidimensionality there. Seeing all of these radiant hearts is so beautiful. Yamorta ko shimopurota ki ichintina kamburanda ki indi ita koranduku utu uisha. Murandakia. Hu shononokulukur ndia. Yanea mapurumnesha. Kinchichi to kush muti chichuju ushu urdichi ndi. Kit umda. Kititu umdo korta kikishi. As what the Syrian whale and dolphin consciousnesses Oradake Osha Waradake Shiicha are present more fully. Kia chichia no ufuto hiticho otaka akia orde. Hindi hututume echa. Or ita afush and the kiichi di into unduku undak unduku unduku undak inchichi murtecha. Bringing forward the gentle reminder that there are many currents and flows of life, of experience, in this and all dimensions and realities. Yes, and there's great support here in the field for navigating, for hute, yishnote, murundichi undukundi ujuhu. Chamopurndi and the akar and that I shit in the holo or the eta more ndaka wecha. Bringing in a conscious breath. Feeling the breath in the body. Your beautiful body. This gorgeous blue star code, blue star light. Present with your inner cosmos. And the beauty of your uniqueness. In offering of an illumination in the third eye space, in that crystal complex. Very specific blue star frequency ways. Kormata kuyosho kitinina naka murunde murundecha murundakia murunde ye jo urunde jo rda aka amorde esha mindi o or o takiena morde asha mo ordoku wita mukuisha imorde ita murde. Bringing awareness to the hips and the feet. Noticing, imagining, or sensing the full connection with the crystalline core of Gaia and higher dimensional spaces. Your inner spaces, your inner knowing, and source creation, and all of the aligned and supportive light support. Murata kesha mopurata kesha. For the highest good of all. Arata kesha mopurata kesha. In the resonance. Inana kesha mo orata ke ita ke chichina kamburata ko uta kesha ko oranta ake of the blue star ways mohota kim shina kamburata with love and compassion and beauty. Yamburu uta kesha offered with the rose ways. Ina kim shamoburata ki icha mo orto ocha. Kinte eta mo orota ki icha. Yamburanda aya ki icha ma aya ki ita. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That light language has made me very warm. There are subtle shifts there, right? That's what we pay attention to. Thank you for this. And I was reminded of your experience when you were going through your healing crisis, the clicking. Was that the beginning of light language for you?
Yeah, I didn't really circle that back, did I? Yes, it was. That was all of the light language, all of the light code, everything desiring to be expressed. But there was resistance, and the conditions weren't allowable for that. So it sort of got stuck here and was like this, clucking thing. But now there's a lot of clicking that comes in through different frequencies in different ways. But yes, absolutely, that was that. Yeah.
Okay, wow. It's not easy to go through what you did, and because of the journey that you've had, it does make it easier for the rest of us to go through those changes, although it will be unique and different, as you pointed out. But what you've done is helped pave the way. So you're actually assisting a lot on the planetary level. Those who are waking up, sure, some may still have some resistance. That may mean they could go through a challenging time, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can open up to it with our consciousness. And that's my dream. I hope that more people open up to this with consciousness instead of a unconscious or subconscious battle that we have to go through to come into our hearts. And I think that what's happening on the world and the collective, let's talk about that for a moment. It seems like that is a huge pressure cooker to give people a choice, love or fear, right? What are your insights on this evolution that the planet is going through at this time?
Mordakishima Boroticha. Utakisha. Borota, in the beginning, I hadn't heard of ascension. I didn't know what that meant, but the guides were always using the phrase conscious evolutionary expansion. So, morota takisha morota, it's like everything exists in this space. And when one brings conscious awareness to it and begins to participate, it feels like a very key factor. The participation consciously in the personal evolution, which then contributes to the collective. Every single individual experience informs and contributes to the allness and to the collectives of experience. And yes, there's a lot of pressurized feeling right now, and also there are a lot of practical things that we can bring in if there is some sort of dramatic experience of resistance. And again, most things do not open in that way. For me, it had to, but in order for me to step in and say yes to everything. But somatic practices and things like that can greatly support all of these transition times. It's a transition time from one way of being into another way of being. And we have nervous systems, and the nervous system, it's a natural function of it to get scared sometimes, or to have that sensation of fear. And then it's okay, how can we work with the nervous system, notice when that's occurring, and then bring our participatory, creator self to that space. Okay, I'm noticing this is occurring with my nervous system. And what can I do here to support that so that I can continue my journey from a conscious participation standpoint? And that's the thing, like if there's a tremendous resistance to the participation in it, it's a different experience. All things are just energy, and many people are having experiences right now that are highly unpleasant. And there's tremendous compassion, but it is a time, like a very strong catalyst for the invitation to, like I really needed those strong catalysts. Everybody doesn't, but for me, I needed that, and it had to happen at that time so that I could now be present and understand some of these things to support other people in their processes, and also the light body updates and everything. But it's a catalyst time, and a transition time, and an invitation to participate in one's own evolution, and therefore in the collective evolution.
Yes, well said. Beautiful. And so I'm just sensing that when we are triggered by the external world, or we're looking around, there's so much. You can just paper. You can pick up any newspaper at any moment and like find something that will trigger us. But that's an invitation. That triggering is an invitation to us to heal something within us, that find that trigger, find that something that's triggering us, and make peace with it. Make peace with it and connect even more to our star family, to bring that in and really be aware, and to reach for other feelings that are within us. So I'm saying that as kind of an easy pathway, but it sounds easy, or it sounds simple, but it might not be so easy putting it into practicality. And this is why you've got this beautiful opportunity for people to work with you. There is a course. We're going to talk about your special offer right now. This is the Heart of Cosmic Creation with Sirian and Arcturian starways and dolphin and whale consciousness. This is so beautiful because what we're doing is we're opening these pathways, we're clearing these pathways, reducing the resistance within each of us so that we can open like you open to these galactic frequencies, and open to our own wisdom within. So this is a beautiful opportunity. There's live courses, there's bonuses. Tell us who this is good for.
Hmm. Yeah, especially for those who resonate or feel a strong draw or pull toward blue beings, or blue light, or the blue ray, or blue stars, um, Syrian, Arcturian, and of course, all of the starways. A lot of starways come in during this, so Andromeda and Lyran, etc. But the main part of this will be to support the illumination of the blue star frequencies within. So anyone who has a hunch, or who has already activated that and wants to expand. Also anyone who's wanting to come inward more and expand the subtle awareness, and also work with any fear patterns that might still be present, to have practice in being with one's allness, which includes the body and the nervous system, in addition to the energy, the light body. So, but especially, and also anyone who has a draw toward light language, who has had it come open for them or wants for it to expand or to be more comfortable with the expression, and who is comfortable or open to receiving in that way, because these are not as much like a class teaching. It's more like a practice of presence and receiving illumination and activations to support some of these processes. And a lot of that occurs with light language. So, how it usually shows up is light language interspersed with English, and the English comes in to help bring in an understanding and to support the integration of all of the frequencies and light language that comes in. And especially anyone who feels a connection with Lemuria or whale, the cetaceans, whales, dolphins, any of the waterways that also have strong connections with the blue star presence or consciousnesses. So yes, as an invitation, it would be an honor to be with you if any of that lights you up.
Everyone here should have their hand raised. Yes. Oh, you were all blue rays. We're all aspects of rays, but we tend to feel a resonance at times with that blue ray. And so this is beautiful. And Lemurian, we are all Lemurian as well. And so we're excited for this. It really is great. So what is this going to do for the participants? They're gonna open so much more, but can you share with us exactly what this is gonna do?
Hmm. Well, um, it will allow a lot of support for being able to be in the center, to support the calming of the nervous system, to allow for more of the expansion of these ways within, the lighting up of these ways within, the comfort with these ways within, if it resonates with you. You're going to be receiving directly from these ways, from these star ways. There will be a lot of activations and illuminations. And most people, uh, some people say they feel taller at the end, or they feel more grounded, or more peaceful, or more expanded, or more themselves, but like in a way that's very comfortable, like an acceptance of some of these things. And um, in general, they can also activate some of the so-called extrasensory ways, even though it's our natural way of being. So a lot of people experience inner vision, or some of their own light ways are either shared or begin to come online more. Yeah. And in general, that's some of the things that can be experienced. And we'll also have some crystal singing bowl support that helps with the integration of all of the frequencies, and to experience a greater sense of freedom and limitlessness and that connection with the infinite self, which is always here, even as we in our bodies have a lived experience that's still playing out a sense of limitation in a lot of ways. So experiencing that sense of infinite can also be expanding.
This is going to really assist us in accelerating that connection, the connection to the wisdom within, the connection to our guides. So watch out as you go through this experience, everyone. You'll know in your heart if this sounds right for you. We're really excited. This is wisdom. that is within us, and it is all of us, and it is this reconnection to that wisdom, to star families, to our galactic consciousness. It really is a workshop to expand galactic consciousness, to really behold it and to embrace it. And so this is a great year for that. And you're a great teacher for this because of your journey that you did. And so we can all open up in this way without the 2x4s over the head, hopefully, hopefully. So with ease and grace, we invite everyone to check this out. It's really a beautiful grouping of workshops. Tell us a little bit more about what these are. There's 3 modules, but there's a 4th live group session. So there's really 4 live group sessions and some other bonuses. Go over those for us.
Sure. So there's always more that comes into the field, but the foundational essence of what's going to be shared in Module 1 is exploring subtle senses in relation to the star nations or our galactic connections, the interdimensional self, and expanded conscious awareness. With the potential to illuminate or activate any ways within that have been dormant and have been waiting for this specific timing. That's 60 minutes, and then there will be some time afterward where we can share and ask questions if you have any questions, integrate together through conversation and sharing. And Module 2 will be focused on expanding the pure presence in your heart star, illuminating that crystalline space of multidimensionality and the reconnection or remembering, bringing back together, illuminating and activating any blue star ways that are yours, your personal experience to illuminate. Yes, lots with Arcturus and Sirius will be present the entire time, along with whale and dolphin consciousnesses, to support the embodiment process. And so it's one thing to like experience, but then another to embody and to have it be the lived experience from our physical experience. And they support greatly in that process. In Module 3, the intention and awareness will be an exploration of supporting completion of any lingering, really strong fear aspects or programming, especially what was coming in last night that isn't on here, as any spaces of attenuation. And I didn't even know what that word meant, so I had to look it up. It's a scientific term. But any ways that that the signal or the frequency or the flow is dampened or scattered or constricted in any way. So this module will bring a lot of that in for supporting the reopening of any of those spaces that have resulted in a lessening of the connection with the signal, with the frequencies, and with the conduit that each person is. And it supports empowered connection and a greater ability to be with what presents and to be able to know next steps. And then in the bonus live group gathering, it'll have a focused awareness and practices that we'll do experientially together for strengthening energetic boundaries, and to approach it rather than from a shielding, but more of a becoming more fully your unique infinite essence as a way to be more of these things with less interference or less of that dampening or constricting of the connection. And was guided to also include some bonuses there is a soundtrack that's Pleiadian peace frequencies, which is so beautiful and can support the ability to be in the frequencies of peace and to come into the heart space more uh, when and if things become or feel like too much at any time. And there's a series of frequency flows, which is also that combination of light language and English interspersed, that are all downloadable audios that, along with the Pleiadian Peace Frequency soundtrack, is available right away with purchase on the page you'll be taken to. So you can do this as you're waiting for the live gatherings to take place. And these include 4 frequency flows, which are each 60 minutes. And there's a lot of light and star language that comes through the constellation of consciousness that is Pleiadian, which so many also have a strong connection with. So this supports the reconnecting and the illumination for remembrance with those star ways, almost as a preliminary field of experience for what we will do in the live gatherings together for the Blue Star Ways.
We are so excited. Thank you for this incredible offering. It really is rich and comprehensive, and I really feel it is this notion of reconnection to our wisdom within. You're actually, it's an energetic system. So you're working with the body, but then the light body, the energetic systems that connect to the body. And this is information, this is light, and we are light. You are fine-tuning our light so that we can be clear of restrictions and that word attenuation, right? So we can amplify that flow of our light and wisdom. It is our wisdom. This is powerful. This is where, when we go through a practice like this, there is no more doubt, right? There is no more fear. That could still creep in at times, but our muscles, our fortitude to be aware of our essence is that much stronger. And that really is key as we move forward on this planet, because there is so much distraction out there, a lot of misinformation, disinformation, too much information. But what about the information within, this connection within? And I know many people are feeling these connections to the Andromedans, the Arcturians, the Lyrans, the Pleiadians. This is an incredible year for this galactic connection to become stronger. And so thank you, Amala. This is a beautiful program that it totally helps people accelerate this in their life. So again, we invite everyone watching and listening to check out this program. Again, the link is in the description box where you're watching this video, or it's in the email that got you here, and of course, the webpage that got you here. And we thank you for checking that out. We really want to make this easy for you to participate in. So if you need assistance, there's a 2-payment plan, and we really hope that that serves your needs in joining this program. Can you imagine what you are at the end of this program? Amala, this is really incredible. What do you see the life of the student once they go through this program with you? What's that going to be like?
Richer, from an inner space. As you're saying, there's so much distraction, and so these times together, these gatherings, these offerings, support the ability to come inward and recenter and reconnect to the inner realities and to the multidimensional nature. Yeah, and to be free from distraction, at least during our time together, and then supports the like repatterning, um, moving forward to come back to those spaces. Because it's like once there's a felt sense of something or an experience of something, then it's easier to come back to. Yeah.
Yes, you are really helping us tune in on such an important, significant level. This really is powerful at these times. All right. Thank you, Amala. Again, everyone, check out her special offer and join. And we're calling all Blu-rays and we're calling all Lemurians. We're calling all galactic star seeds. This is you, and we invite you to take part in this. And the frequency flows, again, you can get that immediately on your purchase. Those are so supportive just to be in those energies. I can feel them already. You're actually bringing them through your voice in this whole conversation. So, am I right on that? There's something going on here because we're feeling in
There's
everything.
something going on here. Yeah, I know. Yes. It's, I don't try. It just, no matter what state my human aspect is in, as you do, I'll just say that in when all of that was opening in 2016 and 2017 so dramatically, I used to listen to your voice because so much light code and presence and that sense of connection. When we express, when we allow the expressiveness or the expression through that connection, um, it can be palpable, and it can and we're just being us, right? So that's why I love like everyone who shows up here. It's just like everyone's just becoming more them. And then they go out and when they talk, even if you're talking about something that seems silly or insignificant or whatever, it's the frequency. Every single thing is frequency, and it's yeah, yes. This all the frequencies are here, and I'm grateful for the addition and the sharing with yours and with everyone else who's here.
Thank you again. It's the groups like this that make us feel alive and home and totally supported. So we thank you for this time today, for this energetic uplift today. And we're so grateful for all of those who've joined us. And we are really looking forward to hearing your stories as well, supporting you on your journey. We do not need to do it the hard way. If we don't listen, the soul will give us the hard way. But this is our conscious evolution expansion, as your guides showed you, Amala. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Amala and all of your beautiful guides and frequencies, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin. I feel those. We are so grateful, and we are forever grateful and in gratitude for you. So as we say goodbye, I want to give you a moment for final thoughts.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a heart sharing that wants to take place, and like emotion is coming up because I can feel so many who have also done a lot of work, inner work, and those who are possibly, already attuned to some of these frequencies and the possibility for expansion of that. And there's such great heart resonance here, and just want to thank each one of you because everyone brings with their uniqueness that something really special to the field we're in right now, and to the oneness through all that you are and all that you share and all that you do. And yes, I'm just thanking each person. And I'm also just so grateful for this coming together and the sharing of some of the blue star ways. It feels like a potent time for more of this. So I am in gratitude as well. Thank you so much. It's been such a delight to be with you.
Thank you. Likewise, we are grateful and boasted by our conversation today. Thank you. Again, everyone, thank you too for your heart light. It is so important. We are certain that you are so aware of that and even more aware of your role and your mission on our beautiful planet. Again, we invite you to expand your consciousness more, your evolution with Amala Rose and her beautiful cosmic course of creation, the heart of cosmic creation. Thank you all for joining us. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.